All right. Welcome. Welcome one, welcome all to the first annual ellervatedthon. And I appreciate everybody who's here and helped me get here. Mainly all the runners and everybody, all the support, all the commentary. Thank you guys. We have a very special beginning run. We've got colinbolts with us, and he's going to be doing Secret of Evermore Any %. And let me just make, oh yeah, well, Colin will be here in just a minute, but it's going to be pretty exciting.
How's this?
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Alright, where are we? Oh my goodness, my mic has been on. Alright. Oh! I'm so sorry, alright.
Oh, you're fine.
Behind a little bit already. But that's alright, we're gonna jump right into this. I'm calling bolts, and this is Secret of Evermore, the best game ever. That's why it's in its name.
Hell yeah.
And, welcome everybody to ellervatedthon. Cool dude. Something like that. Yeah. Alright. So for the timing,
So I was just gonna count you down and then hit the starter. Yeah.
So for the countdown, just literally, I'm just gonna be like, start. Because it's like the way this game is timed is through RTA. Like for the countdown, so actually, like I start my timer with I'm just gonna be like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Or either or. I mean, you can count me down, I guess you want.
Oh well, yeah. It's either way. As long as somebody does it, I'll hit the button.
All right, I'll count down. 1, 2, 3, Smurf. All right, let's go. All right, so first things first, we gotta kill these plants and stuff. We gotta get this petal here so that we can sell it for some currency.
Hell yeah.
And actually, we only killed the one plant, so we're gonna take some damage here. Hopefully, probably not. For some currency, we'll probably take damage afterwards when we don't want to. But we're going to be performing a skip. The game starts off with the boss fight that is extremely difficult and long. And you can progress through it. Starts off with the boss fight that is extremely difficult and long. And you can progress through it one of two ways, by either beating the guys or you can skip it. And this is what we call Raptor Skip, first skip of the game. Oh, that was not a bad time. All right, let's go. So by transitioning to the screen immediately as the boy dies, we switch characters to the dog. The game normally would give us a little cutscene there, but it immediately initiates the death seek or the like skip. So as if we were to have entered the screen and then get killed by the raptors. So we skip that whole little dialogue and stuff. Saves us a lot of time. Real good stuff. Because I'm bad and because I'm also kind of behind, I'm just going to try to move fast a little bit here. Picking up some ingredients for the first spell in the game, which we're going to be using largely to... I just did a frame perfect character switch there. Normally we would try to get the dog to leash over the trigger, but he was not cooperating, so I did a kind of risky frame perfect character switch to get him over the trigger or to open the text box, which allows us, by switching characters on the same frame that the text box opens, it allows us to move around with the opposite character. So we want to leave the village as soon as possible, otherwise we would have to go talk to Fire Eyes and it initiates this long cutscene, very long. Here we are going to use the talons that we bought or acquired through killing things and picking stuff up and whatnot, and we are going to sell our pedal. By buying the pedal from this guy, he gives us the Ring of Jaguar, which allows us to run around real fast. Very optimal. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to mention is you'll notice I'm sprinting left and right, or diagonally, when I'm moving down with the boy. That's because the boy moves slowest on going down and up. He moves fastest going right and left. So you want to try to reduce up and down inputs as much as possible when you're using him. The dog, on the other hand, is the fastest character on horizontals in this game. So we're going to mash through some text. I did a little manipulation there. In this game, when you pick up certain ingredients, you manipulate the outcome of other ingredients in certain scenarios. So if there's a ingredient on screen A, I should have saved there. This could be bad, but I'm just gonna keep going. So if there's, let's say, 2 clay in one spot and then 3 clay in another, and you pick up, what am I doing? And you pick up clay 1 before you pick up clay 2, it'll cause the 3 clay to turn into 4 clay rather than 3. So that's just an example. Right there, there's these triggers that cause the bridge to collapse, but by attacking and getting the dog onto the trigger, switching characters, and then switching back once the dog is on the trigger, we can skip it, run through that maze real quick. Right there, I just did another little kind of glitchy stuff. By having a character far off screen enough, we can cause the game to kind of like skip through certain AI as we switch characters. And here we're setting up the hardest trick in the game, called Thrax Intro Skip, so hopefully we got it. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, alright, so we got it. So I'm going to multicast by having the dog as the active character and switching to the boy by pressing Y. And the game would normally only allow us to cast 6 spells, but... Alright, and by combining the animation for the outro, or the intro that we skipped, and running into the trigger for the intro skip, or cutscene, while he's dying, so like on the last frame of damage, it will actually combine the screens and we can move faster, or earlier as he's dying. And free Stoneheart a little bit early saves us a few seconds. So this is a pretty good start. I'm about 10 seconds behind a serious attempt. Like where I would like to be. Yeah, and that's the first boss of the game. Woo! So now we're gonna continue to make our way over to the first save point, I guess, of the game. And this guy's gonna give us Acid Rain, which is the most awesome spell in the game, but completely useless in the speedrun. So this guy is gonna give us some dialogue. Oh yeah, there's some bad guys been through the ringer. And it's like, yeah, no kidding. Now give us your loot. So he gives us some ingredients so that we can cast more hard balls. No. Yeah, okay. Well, that cost me a little bit of time, but that's fine. I tried so hard to remember too, and it's just like such a force of habit to exit out of the menu, so. Alright, so here we're going to do some precasts, because we need our spell to be leveled up. And the way it works is the spells level up by how many casts you do. Here, just like how we exited the screen, we can put the dog in the trigger to talk to him, and then by randomly just walking in these huts real quick, it for some reason allows us to walk into the back of Fire Eyes' hut like this and initiate the conversation, whereas we would normally have to sit in a little cutscene, a dialogue, and listen to Fire Eyes talk, and she would get summoned outside of her hut, and then we would go in slow. So yeah, we just do this, and yo, what up, Manawats? Yeah, and enjoy our coffee. So I think without that save, or like the having to open the menu up, even because the saving itself is not that bad, without having to open up the menu and whatnot, I'd actually be. I might still be on PB pace, actually. This run is going pretty good. So, hopefully RNG blesses us on the next boss and Act 2, because there's a lot of crazy stuff about to happen real soon, real fast, and I'll try to keep up. So we're going to make our way to the next spell of the game that we're going to use, called Defend, and there's going to be some pretty major game-breaking stuff going on, but I'll get back into that later. So we want to get this guy to give us the spell as soon as possible. It's not the most ideal of rooms, but still good. Also, in this game, if you've played Secret of Mana, you know that the way the energy works is you get a full energy bar and then you can sprint. Well, in this game, we can just sprint infinitely. So the way we try to do it is on frame 1, you press B to sprint, and then you hold B for 3 frames, and then let go on frame, or you let go on frame 3, and then repress on frame 4, or something like that. So it's very, 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 very difficult to get the perfect mash, obviously. So we just kind of mash A and hope for the best. As you saw, I could skip through those rocks there. It works the same as I discussed earlier with skipping through the maggot by having a character far enough off screen. There is a skip here that I was almost by nature going to go for. It saves almost roughly 2 seconds optimally and is very costly if you miss it. So we're not doing that, plus we miss the save if we do. So now we're going to run over into the next boss, which, so I wanted to get into a little bit more detail about why we level or do 7 precasts. And the reason is our hardball will be leveled just enough to the point where this boss Magmar here, he has a chance to cast a spell called Heat Wave, and we do not want him to cast Heat Wave because it will take a lot of time and probably kill us. So we need to hope that this guy doesn't cast Heat Wave right now, so bless RNG. You also see another little sequence break going on this fight. So by opening... come on. And closing the menu real fast, like that, it allows us to sequence break the damage rolls, and instead of getting hit by all the hard balls, the game is convinced that he's only getting hit by 1. So it gives us a better chance of him not casting Heat Wave. And just like we can multicast 8 hard balls with the opposite character, we can also do 8 thunderstorms because it's, or lightning storm rather, because it is a it's an animation spell. So we're allowed to stack animation spells and just regular damage spells like hardball. So I'm just trying to set the screen up a little bit here so that it reduces as much scrolling as possible, because it needs to scroll up for the dialogue with her. And if you're too far to the right or the left, it will have to reposition itself in the center. So that's Act 1. It's the first section of the game. Done fast-ish. About 32 point, and I'm about 33 seconds off PB right now. That was pretty relatively good pace. This PB is the second fastest RTA ever done in this game. No, third. Whoops, my apologies. So, moving pretty fast. If you've played this game before, you would know that the first act has, well, it has 2 more bosses that we just completely skip over, one of them being extremely difficult, so it saves us a very considerable amount of time. So now we're going to be doing another frame perfect character switch here. For screens like this where the dog isn't on screen, the dog is actually always on screen, and luckily for us, for some reason, we can call him onto the screen by entering and leaving and then re-entering that screen. And we got frame perfect character switch first try. That's pretty sweet. So normally we would do like a little bit of buffers or whatever, get him set up in the right spot, but we just managed to, you know, be legit and and the boy was standing over the ditch, but marathon luck blessed me yet again. Alright, cool. So yeah, the reason we want to call the dog into play there is so that we can do the character leashing with the boy, and get him over that ditch. If he goes up left like that, it can be kind of scary, because, yeah, as you imagine, he could just fall. So right there, we just skipped over a pretty big cutscene, and by entering this town first, Nobilia here, we start an in-game timer that lasts for 15 minutes, and we're going to be using those 15 minutes of in-game time to set up a lot of game-breaking glitches and stuff like that, so. And be sure to bless RNG, because, you know, it wouldn't be an RPG otherwise. I guess I should have gotten one more kill. So we have to buy the pixie dust for the glitch that we're going to be setting up here, and we have to get the wings for I guess kind of a few glitches actually, but basically what the wings do is it allows us to return to the entrance of a dungeon that we have entered. So you'll be seeing that used shortly in the next dungeon that we have to embark on, or whatever. I don't know, fancy wording. Oh yeah, so as you saw, I scrolled through the entire desert. You can do the same here. It's a little bit more finicky, but when you're a pro like me, you usually get a first try. But the way that it works, actually, I don't know. I asked the old, like, our task man if he had a definition, and basically the short explanation, which is the only one I'll probably be getting, is event triggers. So there's these little spots in the game that allow us to scroll. That's all that really matters. So we kind of screen wrap the desert to navigate our way back and forth. Otherwise, we would need an amulet of annihilation, talk to the skeleton boat guy, and the only thing that wastes us time during the in-game timer or in-game market timer, is opening menus, choice menus, basically anything that has an option for dialogue. So like a yes or no, or select this spell, essentially. And right now, what we need to do is gain a level so that we can perform this glitch. I'm gonna save actually after I get the level, so that way we're safe to perform the glitch, because we get one try essentially. Elevated has reached level 6. Heck yeah. Alright, so blimp is right here. So we can do the something dark side. Oh yeah, we can initiate the cutscene after we enter Nobilia, because the market timer's still going. There's no option, like choice options or anything. It's just dialogue, which is fine. So that's why we try to enter Nobilia without starting the cutscene first. It's pretty costly. Oh yeah. Level 6. Leveling up. Oh yeah. Alright, so now we got poison. What we need poison for is this crazy game breaking glitch. Oh, and we got plague first try. Alright, so this is really, really good. So now we want to use the pixie dust first, otherwise the glitch won't work. Then we cast defend and atlas, and what's going to happen is our stats are going to roll back, which happens normally through the use of poison. Okay, we're good. That was kind of sketchy. So we want our stats to roll back, and here, I'll even just do a little check. It's nice for the fans. See, we got a perfect glitch, which I could have told you regardless. But the time waste is like whatever, it's so minuscule. But what happens is, with poison, your stats start to roll back, and when you have so many properties on your character all at once, the game kind of freaks out a little bit, and it underrolls, it underflows your stats, and when you get killed and revived by the pixie dust, you keep the extremely high stats that you died with, which is why you want to do it far away from a poison tick enough, otherwise your stats will roll back to like 0, or they'll be so high that at some point you'll level up and your stats will roll back to 0. So it can be a little bit scary, and also the glitch is completely random, depending on how long it takes to get poisoned or how long it takes to get plagued or confounded. Also, the guys might just not kill you when you want to die. So getting that first try is pretty massive. We're absolutely in the clear, especially with that beautiful Act 1 performance. Yeah, now we gotta basically just grind it up so we can get some currency, get some levels. The only time you won't hit 999 damage is if we either cast spells, use an attack that's at 100% energy because it just does a power attack that deals 0 damage like that, or if we get a miss or a crit. So essentially, like that. So essentially we want no misses, no crits, or like that. That's a crit. So 116. So we're just gonna gain a few levels. This is true any percent. So we are gonna be skipping the giant rat boss that you all love and hate and whatever. Now would be a good time for donations. Kappa. But yeah, be sure to ask any questions you may have. I have no problem answering them. I'm sure I probably missed some stuff in the explanation of my run, since it all happened so quickly. What we're gonna do here now is we're gonna get enough for 35 limestone, or 35 crush casts, because that's exactly how much we need to kill Kraken boss here. Which we'll probably get more, because I always end up overbuying or forgetting what I'm doing by the time it comes to purchase ingredients. Double weed, yeah. Well, Tumbleweed's alright, because he just chases you around. He doesn't run away, so he's actually a pretty nice character. When he's not trying to kill you, and you're not invulnerable. In that case, he's horrible. casually, probably one of the most annoying enemies. Well, actually, no. Both casually and speedrunner-wise, I think the most annoying enemies is these Sniffit guys, as we like to call them. They're not actually Sniffits, but they make like a sniffing noise, like the dog makes. So, I'm guessing that's why they're called that, or we call them that. I call them that. I probably heard it somewhere. I have no idea. Also, I would like to mention, Secret Evermore does not really have an official Discord, but my buddy, the Angry Panda, who did a bunch of tasks for this game, and also still very adamant about the love for this game and whatnot, has a Discord, which we use pretty much as the Secret Evermore Discord. Also, we have quite a few members in the community that are pretty friendly and helpful, such as myself. So if anybody's ever interested in running the game, please let me know. Or anybody, or whatever. Yeah. Alright, so now we gotta go back to Blimp and finally purchase some ingredients from him. Oh, no. Oh, that was scary. So those chili pepper things are very expensive. We don't want to have to buy any of those ever. Alright, so the reason I'm killing these guys here also is they can give you an ingredient manipulate. Like, you can manipulate the ingredient drop. So whereas like the game would normally give me whatever I pick up, so you'll see in a little bit, the spot in that corner there I believe is just 2 limestone, but by doing a normal manipulation, which is what I'm going to do here, you'll get a little bit extra. And if we were to get lucky enough to get a prize drop from the enemy, and as we picked the prize drop up, it was currency of some sort, so in Act 2 it'd be jewels. We'd pick up the 75 jewels and then instantly pick up the ingredient, and it would manipulate the ingredient to be 75. So we're gonna do 13 casts here. And this will allow us to kill Aquagoth every single time, which is a enemy coming up in the game that... Oh, I didn't even do the manipulation first. Whoopsies. That could have saved me. So normally you would do this and manipulate these ingredients to give us enough so that we don't have to buy said ingredients from Blimp when we go. It saves us a few menus. Not getting it's not a big deal. But yeah, so now we're gonna basically just make our way back here, and we want to get an Amulet of Annihilation. We're gonna need it later on in the run. I was explaining something. I'm trying really hard to remember. Oh, another thing I wanted to say is, since we are on the in-game timer, we have to do the precasts regardless. So rather than having done it on a spot where I would be wasting time in-game and during the casts, I do it now since we have to wait the in-game timer out anyway. So the only thing that is wasting time is the menu that I have to open up regardless to kill Aquagoth anyways. So by talking to this chicken 100 times, he gets really mad. Hey, you. Yes, you. Bam. Almost took me out. Do not taunt the chickens. Taunt the goats if you want, but leave the chickens alone. So yeah. Anger the chicken god. And then, lobotomy chicken. Hopefully we don't walk into the screen transition like that. There goes 3 seconds. There you go. Oh well, rip. Alright, cool. Oh, So we have to wait about 2 minutes for the in-game timer to end. Only 5 minutes behind schedule. Heck yeah. Alright. That means I'll be finishing quite a bit under estimate. It gives me a little bit of cushion room to be comfy. The game for the rest of the part, or for the most part, the rest of the run is pretty much smooth sailing from here on. We have some pretty Monka-esque RNG sections coming up. Also, I didn't say hi. What's up, Gumby? Hope you're doing good, bud. Morning, everybody. Morning, Tin. Morning, Gumby. Hito. Of course, my boy Elevated. Bing Chang, everybody. The blesses and all that showing up in chat. It's really cool. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, I mean, just like, I'm already having a lot of fun, so that's pretty awesome. Definitely some more dope runs to check out. Make sure you stay put, guys. Oh snap, Hercules after, yo, so I'm running Blasto after this, and then our boy PK22 is running Hercules 90% after this. I know my boy Fenriquez would be pretty hype. Pretty hype. How old were you when you first played it, or was it something you played when you got older? I was probably about 2 when I first played Secret Evermore. It was one of my first video game memories. And although that, it's certainly one of my favorite games of all time. But I'd say that it's definitely by far not my favorite game ever. And the reason I picked this speedrun up actually was because my buddy, when I first got into speedrunning or started becoming aware of speedrunning about, I was probably, it was maybe like 2015, I think. 2015 or 2014. I never really actually got into it myself, but I was aware of it and interested. And one day my friend was watching like GDQs or something, and he was like, everything has been speedrun. I was like, no, there's no way anybody has ever speedran Secret Evermore. So right there we got our first example of cutscene RNG. The boy just went straight right. He has the opportunity to go down, which is quite slow. Loses us like 3 seconds, I think, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's just complete RNG. This game has cutscene RNG, yes. So we're gonna mash some text. This guy's gonna ask us to save. We do not want to save at any more points in this game, because if we save and then reload the state, we will lose our Atlas and defend glitch. That's no good. So we want to get the chest plate and the pedal here to keep the dog in place. I have a little setup hugging these like armor statue things that I use to position the camera in the center. Then I moved the dog up just a little too low. So what I try to do is get the camera as centered as possible and get the dog in place so that the characters have very little, you don't waste any time for them moving to their spots in the next trigger. And you'll see me do that in quite a few areas. I think that spot right there is probably the most notable though. Also, you saw me switch the character's AI. This is what I wanted to explain. I kept forgetting. You saw me switch the character's AI in Act 1 earlier, and you saw me leash the boy over the trigger. The reason we switched the AI is so that the boy has an aggressive leash, and we can get him over certain triggers like that one. So we want to go behind this guy, stand on the wall, mess the bit up, hopefully not soft lock. Alright, we're good. If you don't get the quick kill strat on this guy here, the game has a very scary potential to soft lock. I think it's a little bit better when you're playing on a SNES Junior, because I think it has something to do with the sound chip, such as like how Vermeer skip works. And the reason I play on a SNES Junior is because it's the only known console to have 100% success rate with Vermeer, which is essential to the route, saving us a whole minute. So we defeat this guy real quick, and this guy is blown away by our performance. He's like, wow, I was not expecting you to actually own Vigor. He flexes a lot, so that's very impressive. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. It's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Have little faith in me. Most of my haters do. But it's you know, partially reason to my success. So the boy takes his non-flexing muscles back out in Abilia to the desert. We are going to run to the next section of the game here. By keeping the dog up here also, we can perform an easier reverse desert skip if we don't get it first try. Which we do because we are freaking amazing. Okay? I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm just so good. Just gassing myself up here. Don't worry, the confidence will shoo away soon enough. Got a lot of scary stuff going on here. It gets quite difficult to explain. So I'm gonna try my best, but by keeping the dog up there, if I were to miss the first try reverse desert skip, I could actually just switch characters to the dog and then run up, and I guess the screen is already wrapped at that point, so it gives it the same property. So we want to pick this up for a very, very scary skip we're going to be doing later. Run over these invisible bridges, because if we fall into them, we get a very, very scary cutscene that lasts way too long. And hopefully not fall into these ditches, because it will be really bad. Okay. Alright, we did. We did it with ease. That's what happens when you play 100 million hours of the same video game over and over again. So yeah, you'll see the diagonal running much more prominent throughout the rest of the run here, because the rest of the dogs, as you see, the dog switched to like this Sphinx-like greyhound. He switches. It's kind of a theme for the dog to switch. So, spoilers. But he will be pretty much slow and not essentially useless, but we're not going to really use him for much other than glitching the game out for the rest of the run. The boy is the powerhouse. Right here we have a pretty big skip coming up that can be very scary. We need Doggo to go over first try. Boom. Just like that. Alright, this run is actually going really well. So normally you would fall in here and like get sent to the top of this maze-like thing and stuff, but the game is actually designed so it's fast enough that you can just run over it by sprinting. And this is where the wings are first used. We need to just hit these series of switches in the pyramids to continue to progress. And right here is the big reason why we now keep the boy on aggressive. Otherwise we would have switched him back to defensive to make things a little bit easier on us, but we can save some time by skipping this. First try, wow. First try. But yeah, our boy Skarsnickus actually found out that it saves a hefty amount of time in the ruins here alone by just leaving and re-entering the screen here. You'll see in a second, as opposed to winging out, which was the older strat for a long time. And it also causes, although it makes a very, very major skip coming up shortly to be very scary, it has the potential of being extremely fast. I've timed it, and I believe it can save over, like, I think if both go optimally, you can be, like, still, like, 7 seconds faster or something. Alright, so this is the next boss. I'm gonna do this little, like, task-like strat that I found. Oh, alright, that looks pretty good, actually. If you go right into that position, like the perfect position, attack down, it'll actually keep him locked, like, inside you, as opposed to knocking him backwards. It can save, like, about 10 frames, not very RTA viable, but it's a marathon, so I thought it'd be fun to go for. Alright, so now we gotta traverse our way back, hopefully not falling in these ditches, very scary. It's happened many more times than I'd like to admit. And we have our next dungeon coming up here, the pyramids, which is one of the hardest sections to execute in the game, honestly. There's a lot of very, very small, tight tricks that save increments of time that, of course, add up. But, whoo! Frame perfect with the dog. Alright, so if I had walked like 1 pixel to the right there with the dog, it would have been kind of, not bad news, but it would have been costing me quite a bit of time. And instead, I'm gonna save a extra, like, 0.6 or something, or 1.3 for 2 buffers. I can't remember it anymore. It's been a while. Math is not my strong suit. Not that it's just, yeah. I'm just trying to be a bad meme. Anyways, we need these we need these memes. We need these wings so that we can pick up the since we skipped since we don't have enough wings, since we're doing any percent, we want to grab all the additional wings that we can without costing too much time. Got all the despawns. Holy mackerel, dude, the RNG in this run is unbelievably good. This is so good. This is going so good. I love it. Alright. And pretty much the hard skips are over. Wow, that was awesome. There's pretty big. Oh, this is the worst thing that could happen now, so that just negated everything. These these little bridges here, we can actually get the boy to leash over them, which I'm gonna try to do. But if you don't get it, if you get it both first try, then you'll save about I think 3 seconds or something. We missed the first one. The first one is the hardest to get, or the second one might actually be the hardest to get. If you get both, if you get the first one and the dog is standing in a bad position, it'll actually call the boy back around and cost a lot of time. So we didn't get either of them, but we can get the boy to walk over those screen transitions and skip that little cutscene there with the aggressive AI leash. So it's another little benefit to having the boy on aggressive. So here's the next boss, Rimsla, and he normally has this big like intro cutscene, but we're gonna skip that by sequence breaking him. He confounds us, which causes all of our inputs to be reversed, which is not a big deal. But as he confounds you, you normally have to wait for him to go back up. But by sequence breaking it, we can actually kill him before he does his whole cutscene and starts to run all over the map, which is very fast. So now we want to navigate our way back to Nobilia here. Hopefully not landing into this trigger, because if we do, it will be very costly. This is scary. Okay, good. So that's kind of slow. But yeah, that's one of the big purposes of leaving the boy on aggressive. I saw another runner, or I believe Voltus, is the original, or the first runner of this game actually. He did something interesting there where he switched characters to the dog. I don't think it's faster to get the dog over and then take the bridge, but it's an interesting concept. So Might try it out at some point. Hugging the corner there and going through that plant, which is kind of difficult actually, especially if you're not used to it, because you have to move up, down, left, or whatever, something like that, to actually sneak through there. Is the fastest way, but those guys can block you, as well as if you get stuck, it being kind of slow. So you'll see me try to go through, go the most optimal of ways for the most part throughout the run. So do a lot of little intricate movement like that. It's probably not worth it. So another little glitch here coming up that my boy Green Ambler found about, I think, like 2 years ago now. That I started implementing about last year. And by timing the walking into that explosion there, if you walk into the bridges during the cutscene, it'll actually explode just the same. But if you walk into the explosion on the same frame as like where the fanfare is starting, or like it's a pretty big window, but relatively close to that time frame, it will allow you to walk during the cutscene here. So we can position the dog all the way up top, otherwise he'd be standing next to the boy. And since the dog walks extremely slow, it saves us quite a bit by having the dog in position to leave the screen faster. Otherwise, he would have to walk all the way up at the end of the cutscene here. And it saves us about 1 second, but it's completely free. So cool stuff. Now we got some more cutscene gauntlet here. Oh man. Horse gives us some coral beads. And we're on our way. We have to make sure we switch back to the boy. Switching from dog to boy actually costs, I think, about a second. So that's why we only end up saving a second, because by moving the dog up at the end there, we actually save about like 2 seconds or so. So it saves us about a second, or a second and a half, I think, doing that. Another thing I'd like to point out is the boy moves fastest when he has the spear equipped. So we're going to try to keep the spear equipped to the boy at all times. You saw me switch to back to the spear and the runes after the axe. And this is the reason. Also, rather than just running the dog over there, we brought the trolley thing back because we have to come back here, and we would have to do that otherwise. So now we're free to run into the ditch that we were trying so hard to avoid now, because the cutscene is actually overwritten at this point. What would have happened is we would have had this really long dialogue with Horus, where he introduces us to that guy that we saw at the end of the cutscene there, Madronius, who then is supposed to give us a spell, Flare or Flash or something like that, which allows us to see, it's Flash, which allows us to see the invisible pathways, but because we know the route and where the ground is, I guess technically solid, you would say, we don't need to get it. So, and the cutscene is very long. Costs about, I think, a minute or a minute and a half or something. So it's really scary whenever you go over those ditches kind of fast. But if you do it long enough, it becomes second nature. So here we're at one of the most confusing sections of the game casually, Aquagoth's Lair. So we're going to be trying to get the dog as close to these teleporters as much as possible. And this is why we had to, and this boss is why we had to level. Crush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the reason I cast 7 and not 8 is because this guy actually has the potential chance. cast Lightning Storm just like that. So if I had cast 8 when he did that, it would have actually soft locked the game, which we don't want to happen. Alright, not bad. Not bad. I'm not losing time already, so I'm actually... Oh, dude, that is so much lag. So you don't want that guy to spawn. It will produce a lot of lag here. Oh no, I should have moved this. Oh no, I did it again. Oh no, I did it again. I would have saved time on that split if I didn't open up the menu. I literally would have saved time on that split, but didn't open up the menu. That's so funny. I was like, I only lost 1 second that split. It's how well the RNG was. I could have played a little bit better, but the RNG was super good. I'm sorry, I'm just like, it actually feels really good for a marathon run of this category to go so well because of how much RNG there is. So this guy's gonna ask us to save. He's like, a fine poodle he is! Because now he's a poodle, we're medieval in time, so that makes a lot of sense, right? And he's a pink poodle on top of that. It's pretty elegant. Here's why we needed the Amulet of Annihilation from the market, by the way. Because otherwise, we would be doing a big long trip all over the place to try to find it. You have to run all the way up to Lance's house. It is pretty time exhausting. There's another little skip here we got. This guy has a conversation that, like a little cutscene that would initiate, but the trigger for it is actually in this little square area that you kind of saw me walk around, and we can just talk to him from behind and completely skip the little cutscene in the dialogue. So we got a cutscene gauntlet coming up here for the Freak Show. I don't know if you have anything that you'd like to say, Elevated, but now's a good time if you have anything, announcements or whatever. Alright, or not, that's fine. That's totally acceptable. Let me see, I'll make some announcements for you. So, coming up next, we got some Blasto, any percent or warpless by your boy. Maybe we can get a bid war going. Donate if you want to see Blasto warpless. Donate if you want to see Blasto any percent. Donate. But either way, donate. I guess. See, I'm good at this. This is why GDQ accepted me, homie. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like... it's like, Blasto is just such a good game, honestly. I feel like it's super underrated. Super underrated, but yeah, I'm definitely hyped for that run coming up. I just recently did a warpless tutorial that went super bad. I'm gonna say it went bad. Honestly, it went bad, and I still got a sub 19. So yeah. All right, cutscene gauntlet's over, and Pig Poodle won. What is this outrage, good sir? This pig is phenomenal. Now you get to talk to the queen. Heck yeah. So we're gonna go have a conversation with the queenie. And this guy's kind of bad because he bet his whole paycheck on the other pig, Truffle Trouble. I always expect Truffle Trouble to win, but one of these days RNG is just not my favorite, I guess. So yeah, we do a massive sequence break here by just leaving the room after that dialogue. If we were to stay in that room, anybody that's played this game casually, I'm sure you remember a very, very long and confusing maze that you have to run through with the dog. A big cutscene happens where the dog kind of gets lost or whatever, runs around the castle, and this guy is gonna end up cooking your dog, but the dog runs away and then runs through the banquet. You get all kicked out, but you have to navigate your way through, I guess is what is technically the sewers of the or the basement of the castle. It's very long time consuming. So we have a quick kill here by just facing up and attacking to keep the Foot Knight in place. Very similar to what I did on Megatron, or Megator. I said Megatron. Autobots, assemble! Alright, so since we're doing any percent, normally we'd use some wings here, which would help us a lot, because these guys can be very trolly and block us real bad. But my current route makes it so that I can't use wings here, and I got really, really good RNG. These guys did not block me very much at all. But yeah, we're gonna be navigating our way back through that area again, actually. In which case, I will be using wings. I think that's my route. And here's another big long maze. So there's a lot of mazes in this part. Act 3 can be pretty brutal, so you gotta just kind of get familiar with where you're going here. If you were playing casually, you'll notice these little gremlin guys. There's a gremlin guy on screen for every section of the way, if you're going the right way, besides 2 screens, I believe. Or there's one screen at least that you don't see him if you do it optimally, like speedrun wise. The most important part here is to just kind of try to remember which corners you can cut real tight, like that. You want to just enter the screen transition as fast as possible, and also trying not to get blocked by these guys, because especially with how dark it is, you could be behind one of those tree branches or something, and the dragons or these little spiny guys can just block you, and you're not even aware that it's happening. You're just sitting there for a second. It's definitely a big focus area. See this screen? Yeah. Actually, he might be in the bottom left there, but he's just kind of blocked by the energy. I never noticed that. I think he actually is visible. Oh no! I was trying to pay attention to the playback. I just should have focused. Alright, whatever. That only cost me like 2 seconds or 3 seconds. It's not a big deal. Overall, I'm just having more fun than anything with this. Yeah, so we're gonna switch back to our spear now that we beat DL Dark Link here. Shadow Link can be kind of trolly actually, because as you see where I didn't attack that time, but he can kind of run down and all around. So he can be kind of trolly. It's not too bad though. Certainly one of the more trolly boss fights I think of this act. This act is kind of like get lucky, don't miss, pretty much. A lot of the boss fights are pretty straightforward. You kind of just want to stun lock them. I guess with pretty much any speedrun it's like that, but yeah. So now we're navigating ourselves through the next part of the maze. It's very short, and we're here after this next up. And now we have another boss, Timber Drake, who gave us pretty bad RNG. Wow, he gave us really bad RNG. And he's defeated! And he gives us another spear, so we don't actually have to switch weapons for a decent little bit here. We have one more dragon coming up that we're gonna need to switch before, which pretty scary. So headphone check for anybody listening right now. Make sure your volume is not all the way up. I'll give you a little bit of a warning, but this is a Verminator skip right now. So we want to just wing out immediately. We can, even though the screen's fully black, we can tell that we're winging out because you hear the noise. And, yeah. And we got these guys. So I'm going to actually use the wings here to not get stuck. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to get trapped by these guys on the way up than it is on the way down. I've been getting kind of confused here lately, so hopefully I didn't... Oh, and I didn't make the same mistake. Okay, good. So these guys, on this screen, you got these little rats. They can actually plague you, so you want to keep the dog further away. You'll see us backtrack through this area again. On this screen, I would actually have to make sure the dog is not sniffing, or I would lose quite a bit of time. And here is... Tinker. I was gonna say another name, but that's not him. And he's like, "Hey, Elevated, you did it!" And yeah, we did it. Skipped the Verm boss, giant rat guy, and now we are here, doing the thing. Doing the thing. I know I'm not talking really right now, but this is probably the best track in the game. Unfortunately, we don't hear the progression of the OST much. I do recommend giving this track in particular a listen. It's very good. It progresses very nicely. This game was actually, the sound was done by our very own young Jeremy Soule. It was the very first project that he ever did. You'll probably recognize his pieces from Elder Scrolls and whatnot. So there's a little glitch there that we can get that I've actually never gotten yet, unfortunately. But if the last enemies drop a prize and we manage to pick the prize up fast enough, it'll actually cause it so that we can walk around during the text box there and just skip that last text box. It's very random and kind of rare. Kind of like the IFG glitch. The IFG glitch being the ingredient flag glitch. So like when we get the item and pick up, or get the currency and then pick up the ingredient. So there's just some text here. I just noticed something. I don't know if this is actually the case, but since I do play on the SNES Junior now, it does seem as if the cutscene RNG or whatever is better on the Junior. That might not be true at all. But usually that dog, he can go two ways. He can stagger and go down, or he can stagger then go up and around. Right there, I was just interested, or it made me think about it because he didn't seem to stagger at all, and I've never seen him do that. He usually always takes a second before walking down the stairs, and it was almost instant. So there's a lot of like just super random RNG that we don't even understand in this game yet. Also, going down these stairs, I'm holding a diagonal input to go faster. Headphone check. Loud noises. Alright, so this is Verminator skip. The big controversial skip that doesn't seem to unfortunately work on all consoles very well. I've done it on the SNES, the Chew chip, but it does have soft lock potential. There's no like 100% confirmed reason as to why it doesn't work on all consoles, but the common belief is that the sound chip in the older models is not able to handle it. Yeah, the SNES Junior is a revision of the original Super Nintendo model that came out later, kind of like how you have your typical slim consoles for anything else. It's not the same as the Mini, the remake. So here we are at or what I like to call RNG Tower. There is a lot of bad things that can happen here. I was not far left enough. So we want to run around in a circle, get that platform to go away. So we need our dog to follow us for the next screen. Can fix the camera just a little bit there. A little bit more recently discovered by our boy Green Ambler to fix the to save some scroll frames. And we have probably the second most Monka-esque boss coming up right here. So hopefully it gives us good RNG. It's looking hey, scary. I'm just gonna go for it. And I got picked up. So that is what we absolutely 100% don't want to happen, because it's costly and bad. My run, if this was a PB attempt, my run would almost be dead, pretty much. Absolutely. Oh, this is, yeah, very bad. This is the worst thing that's happened all run, pretty much. There's a safe strat here that I don't ever really go for normally, where we cast Hypnotize, and then he can, he'll be stunned, and we can kill him. I had to be a little bit safe there, since I didn't get the kill on him first try. If you do enough damage to the point where you can kill him instantly, when you get dropped down, if you get dropped down, come back up, and then kill him, he'll actually sit on his perch, like he'll sit in place and not go on his perch, and it soft locks the game, so it can be kind of scary. Less boxing, yeah. That is the one. But the model, or the SNES Junior, has slightly different hardware, so I think that's what it is. The fact it could be other chips and stuff going on in there, since there was quite a few different revisions of the SNES Junior, or the SNES itself. Small things here and there. Yeah, there's just not enough information on what makes it work and what doesn't yet. Even certain emulators, for some reason, won't process the skip well. Like, the skip doesn't work, and then others, it works fine. And it's just a gray area that no one's ever really managed to discover, or had the ambition enough to discover, since people's times are pretty much optimized very well without it. And I don't think people really care for the minute time saved, even though the run's super optimized. So we have the next boss coming up here. Everything is pretty much smooth sailing here. There's a lot of RNG and stuff that'll go on. But the next and most interesting thing, in my opinion, is we have the next boss coming up here, and after we defeat him, there is a big chance of some bad cutscene RNG. Like, the most major cutscene RNG coming up can actually lose you about 16 seconds if everything just goes wrong. So we want to kill these little minion guys. Casually, that was actually super good RNG, because they both went straight into the middle. Alright, that fight couldn't have really gone any better. We defeated Mongola! Walk, boy, walk. Alright. Bam. I meant to do that. Yeah, sure, that's what they all say. Also, if you haven't noticed yet, everything in this game likes to explode. It is amazing. One of the best parts of this game, to be TBH. You'll see a lot of explosions soon enough. Level 19, oh yeah. Yeah, we won't even get to level 25, I don't think, by the end of the run. It'll be like level 25 or level 26 max, I think. Okay, so we got the best RNG humanly possible, which kind of is annoying. I haven't gotten bad cutscene RNG there in forever, which is actually very not annoying. It's amazing, but it would have been a little bit nice maybe to have shown it off. But hopefully it just means I'll never get bad cutscene RNG again, which I would be totally okay with. So yeah, we doing a little bit of backtracking again to the other keep or tower. I guess this one, I think this one is technically I think this one's Ivory Tower and the other one's Ebon Keep. I can't really remember. I'm so bad with lore. The lore is too hard. So yeah, this is where we want to keep the dog following us. Because if the dog was too far away, the boy would actually sit there and wait for the dog to catch up on the steps. Very slow. And Tinker! He's got us an invention. It's a flying device with the potbelly stove and a barrel, giant stone cylinder wheel thing. But yeah, it works. Yeah, it works, and we trust him because he is Tinker, true genius. Bring, 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 bring. Alright, so we're gonna hold the B button and down left immediately. That's how you do it optimally, like me, man. You wait for that screen to go black and you're like, boom, now I can do it. Bam. Alright, that's how that works. So here, normally I would hit down and then left, but since I had a bad Sterling, I'm already on the wings, sort of. I'm on call beat actually, but yeah. So yeah, we just do that. Actually, no, you don't even have to, I don't remember how it works. Something like that. Anyways, we want to cast the wings here, because otherwise these raptors will block us like crazy. And we need the dog to follow us so that we can continue to navigate ourselves up the mountain, or volcano rather. We didn't get to see the volcano earlier, unfortunately, because not unfortunately, but yeah, because we completely skipped it. But if you played this game casually at all, you know you'd have to come up here, grab the levitation spell to get past those rocks. This guy, I was afraid that was gonna happen. So sometimes that spider can just be really mean and just block you, and if he walks down into you like that, he'll actually push you into the platform there. So that was kind of unfortunate. And here we go. So yeah, Tinker needs us to grab him some parts for the next invention he's got going on here to help us get back to Podunk. That's the lore. I haven't really discussed that at all. But the lore is we're trying to get back to our town where we came from, our home village, Podunk. And by getting these ingredients, he'll be able to make us an invention. And since we skipped I'm gonna go for actually like a pretty much considered task only skip here. and see if I get it. No, I didn't get it. That was actually a decent setup though. I'm gonna try again. Ah, I did the character switch too late. I'm gonna go again just because it's cool. Oh yeah, I forgot to set the boy up. Whoops. Alright. I'm doing it. I don't care, I'm doing it. No! Alright, I'm not doing it. I'm losing too much time. I could totally do it though. I did it first try the last marathon run, so I was feeling kind of confident. But yeah, he needs the diamond eyes, a gauge, and a wheel. We can glitch the game out though, and just grab the wheel, the gauge twice, and that counts. Since we have skipped the losing the diamond eyes, which is what we needed to get the boy over the trigger for in Act 2. But yeah, so what I'm trying to do here is we can actually put the tongue into the character or the screen transition, and by screen transitioning on the same frame that we are talking to Tinker, we'll give the part away while leaving the screen, and it can save up to like 6 seconds if you do it absolutely flawlessly, perfectly good RNG, like where Tinker walks real close and stuff first try. Not that big of a deal either way. It'll cost us a little bit of time, but nothing like tremendous. Probably lost maybe like 10 seconds there tops. I think I'm still on pace for a 16x actually, which is really good for a marathon run. Granted that the next I might have lost too much time here actually, I don't know. But whatever. The biggest determination of how this run is gonna go is actually the final part here. So definitely gonna want to get your blessed RNGs ready. There's a pretty cool skip coming up here that if you're playing the game, you can actually totally soft lock your game casually. So if you haven't been able to tell yet, this game is quite broken. But instead of going the normal way, like we have been going to go deliver the parts to Tinker, we can just land in the water here, and we don't have to actually land the device. It just crashes. It just puts you in Tinker's world or whatever, like in this section. But your Skywalker is actually gone now, so there's no way to get it back at all. So yeah, if you were to do that casually and not have done everything beforehand, it's pretty bad. Wow, I'm losing a lot of time here actually. I wonder what else I did wrong other than messing up Tinker Tech Skip. I lost like a minute and a half on that. Trying to think. I don't know, I've been taking this run pretty casual for the most part. So it's hard to tell what I did slow. But yes! Now we got Toaster Dog, best dog. So Toaster Dog moves really fast, as you can tell. He doesn't need energy to pick his speed up, really. Just kind of does what he wants. So this is a pretty good start here. Pretty good. Just want the boy to follow us. So we can do some more frame perfect character switching here and get to the end of the game very quickly. So that was kind of slow. I wasn't really prepared like I normally would be, but you can also buffer it. It's you want to switch characters, and on this frame immediately after switching or whatever, you press the B button. So you want to mash really fast while you do it. But because select works, the way character switches in this game work, actually I probably should have mentioned this sooner, is you have to have no input on the character with active character while you're holding select. So it causes skips like that to be pretty easy. So this is the final boss rush. We are not off to a very good start. There's a lot of RNG that goes on here. I can miss, I can crit, and yeah, it can get messy and cost a lot of time. Or it can go really well and save a billion because this fight is actually impossible. So I'm going to use a dog here, kind of as a wall. I don't 100% know the way to do it super proper, but this I feel like works. I essentially try to keep him off screen as much as possible because he produces a lot of lag. And I want to keep the screen, as little going on the screen as much as possible. There's going to be another wave of raptors to attack downwards here. And now that actually was pretty good. After that wave of raptors, we have some more Rimsula guys. Some metal Rimsulas, so they're even stronger than the first counterpart, or whatever. And this is where things start getting a little tricky, because these guys like to do that. Just escape with nothing you can do. Actually, that went pretty well. Now we can kill the Hoover vacuum bot, who we didn't want to kill at first because if we did, it would produce a metal spider every time, which is very bad and slow. The metal spider produces a lot of lag, and obviously it's, you know, just another enemy to kill. So this is Evil Toaster Dog. He is Worst Dog, and he is being Worst Dog right now. He is dodging a lot. He has a tendency to do that. His evasion rate is really, really high. And now we have Metal Magmar. So there's just 2 more enemies of the game, and time is going to be coming up on the final hit of the final boss, which I'll make a point to mention. The strat here is we want to try to get Carltron's robot here that I'm fighting right now all the way to the left side, because it helps reduce lag by causing the explosions to not appear as much. So that's time. Sub 18. Whatever. That was a pretty good run.
Dude.
What's up, dude?
Dude, GG.
Thank you, thank you.
That was awesome.
That was pretty good.
That was like so awesome, dude. I only played this game casually, and I was blown away by the first 5 minutes because I remember how long it took me to get to that first boss.
I can't believe the first 5 minutes actually went as well as they did.
Yeah. Actually, that first like half hour of setup, it went pretty well. That was awesome.
I was like, wait, I keep forgetting to save, and there's so much that can kill you in the very beginning there.
Yeah.
So that could have certainly went real bad, but it was pretty impressive for a marathon.
So just to be fair, just speaking to the audience, the final time was 1:17:57, so I was off a tad. But yeah. Excellent run, dude. Only less than 2 minutes off your PB.
Yeah, which honestly I really wasn't expecting. I was on PB pace coming out of Act 1, and that's the hard. I actually may have been still after Act 1 because of how good RNG was, and Act 2 is absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah. Well, dude, thank you again. So you're the next up runner, so I can give you some time if you'd like to set up Blasto.
Yeah, I just gotta switch consoles. That's about it.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and like get some music popping or something. But Colin, thank you again. Everybody, please go check out colinbolts, COLINBOLTS on Twitch. Streams a lot of really awesome speedruns. including Secret of Evermore, and then Blasto, which is coming up next. Thank you so much, Calm. We'll see you in just a little bit, bud.
Thank you for having me as well, and still having me here.
And still having you. For sure, man. Okay, we'll see you in just a minute. All right, back in a bit, you guys. Let's go ahead and transition this.